So Sunday, we're headed towards a combined Relief Society Young Women's meeting. I have my daughter with me, just about smack in the middle of the room, and it is full to the brim of sisters of ages from 12 years old up to, old. And the bishop starts talking. He goes on to say that it's just really important, comes from the presidency of the church. And now, we've been asked as bishops to share this with you guys. Watch your sleeves, watch the length of your shorts and your skirts, and all these different things, and dyeing your hair. It's like this, I need you all to really pay special attention to this part. And he's like, I want to talk to you sisters about your tights. We don't want to draw attention to the legs. Solid black, solid white. It's appropriate, colored tights are appropriate for like a little girl who's, maybe she has a pink dress on and she's got pink tights. That's appropriate. And I'm still waiting for something important because this is serious now. He already said it was important. And so he says, but pattern tights are not appropriate. Tights with patterns. And I'm thinking like, is he serious? Is he for real? And I noticed his wife sitting 2 or 3 rows in front of us, and she raised and she's like, what exactly do you mean? And you could see the look on the bishop's face, like he's got to make a point now, even though it's his wife. And I'm looking and she's got paisley tights on. So he goes on to explain so for example, tights with polka dots, or some tights have stripes, or they have prints or designs on them. That's not appropriate. And she's like, so my tights. I mean, she's just so like, so what you're talking about is mine, so my tights aren't appropriate? And he's like, yes. And you could just see he just didn't want to say that. He's struggling. He's like, yes, I mean, those would be the ones. And she goes, I'm done. Like, she flails her arm up and she's like, done. And she gets up and she walks out and she's muttering like, I'm just gonna buy new tights. And she's totally freaking out about the tights. And I'm just like, I mean, I didn't mean to, I probably meant to laugh. I mean, it was funny. I look at my daughter, grab my daughter in my arm, and she's just like looking at me like, holy crap. And I start laughing a little. And so the bishop looks at me and he's like, Sister Wheeler, this is really important. This is really serious. I'm looking around as he's saying this to me, and I'm looking at these women and I'm hearing their comments, and they're like, oh, poor sister. Oh, she just needs to have more faith. She just needs to pray more. Oh, it's so hard being a bishop's wife. Oh, it's just so difficult. And they're having these conversations, and it all happened in a matter of seconds. And some of them are looking at their own legs, and you can see these young girls in particular, and their face just falls, and they're so discouraged, and they're just beaten down now because they have on the pattern tights that he just told you is now, this is not appropriate anymore. This is important enough that our prophet has shared this with our stake presidents and with our bishops, and this is coming to us for our salvation now. We're talking about tights. And so there's women are looking down, and I'm thinking, no, my daughter's in this room. There's no way that I want my daughter to go on thinking that her tights are important enough to feel guilty about. And I was like, no, I can't stay quiet, which isn't uncommon. But I stand up and I'm like, actually, this is the exact opposite of serious. There's nothing actually serious about pattern tights. Here's this girl sitting next to me, and I apologize to her. I'm like, I apologize to point you out, but here, you're 13, 12, 13 years old, and she's gonna grow up and she's gonna be 16 and 20, and maybe she'll go on a mission, and then she's gonna get married to her returned missionary, and she's gonna have callings, and she's gonna have kids, and she's gonna have bread to bake and funeral potatoes to make, and she has to support her husband's callings, and she has all these things to do to make it to the celestial kingdom and be 100%, because her kids' generations and whether they make it is all rested upon her shoulders. And she's so overwhelmed, and she just wants to go to church on Sunday to feel the Spirit, and she opens up the drawer, and the only goddamn thing she has clean is a pair of pattern tights, so she can't go to church. Really? That's important. That is what you're saying. And he's just looking at me like, I'm like, no, that's what you're saying. You're saying that it is more important that we focus on our tights than, like, say, I don't know, weighty importance that actually matter. You're like being a good person, doing right, doing, making good choices. We're talking about if you have polka dots on your tights. And it's kind of a funny story, I know, but these things come up all the time, and I just feel like there's no way I could be the only person sitting in the different wars that I've been in, making these comments and questioning the authorities and questioning our bishops and our stake presidents and asking these questions and trying to put a weight on it, a measurement. How important is this really? I mean, it seems like a petty message, but that is just it. I never wanted my kids to feel that kind of guilt for something so petty and so ridiculous. My name's Gloria, and I'm an ex-Mormon.
I've been pretty apprehensive about coming on video to talk about these things because I'm worried about what my family is going to say.
I'm afraid of being kicked out of BYU over something that I can't control.
My husband vows that I'll never see the kids again if I leave him, just to make sure that an apostate doesn't raise the children. And that's why you're only hearing my voice. My family has made it clear that I have a great deal to lose.